Welcome to the All About TRH podcast, aka All About the Real Housewives, aka All About the Truth. On today's episode, we have the one and only Carlos King, former executive producer of the Real Housewives of New Jersey and Atlanta, and he gives us nothing but the truth. Hi, Shantel.
Hey, Roxanne.
You ready for Carlos King?
Yes.
Let's do it. Welcome to the All About TRH podcast, aka All About the Real Housewives, aka All About the Truth. On today's episode, we have the one and only Carlos King, former executive producer of the Real Housewives of New Jersey and Atlanta, and he gives us nothing but the truth. Hi, Carlos.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
We're so excited to have you on, and we just need to give a quick recap because Carlos was the producer for New Jersey, the Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 1 and 2. And Carlos, I had no idea that you were the producer for the best seasons of the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
I had those were my favorite seasons. I feel like it's like I'm trying to get back into it. But the seasons that you produced, I was like, oh my gosh, of course he was the producer for those seasons. I had no idea.
Oh,
and then
you're so sweet. Thank you.
Yes. And then you have this amazing podcast that we listen to, Reality with the King. And then you produced the show Love and Marriage, which we found out Martell is on. Is that correct?
Martell is on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Yes, that's the show.
Yeah. And we saw that you are doing one in Detroit.
Yes, my hometown. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, and when I was doing research. I saw that you went to Wayne State, and I went to Wayne State too. We're from Michigan and Detroit too.
Yep.
Oh, look at that!
I know. Yeah, so I was like, oh my god, I think he's from Detroit, right? You grew up here?
Yeah, born and raised in Detroit. Born there, lived there. Up until I was like 22. Yeah,
oh my gosh.
That's my city. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you guys going to do anything for the Detroit Love and Marriage one? Like, are you guys doing any PR or anything down here?
Yes, it's so funny. I think we may have a little premiere party. I'm trying to work things out, but yes.
Can we come?
Yeah. Dang.
Oh, honey, yes. No, listen,
I love that.
Shoot your shot, honey. So
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. We like I work in Detroit, so I was like, I can't believe he's from Detroit. And then we got so excited and we're like, no wonder we like him so much. So
thank you, ladies.
We think that's awesome. Well, we wanted to talk to you because you are probably the most requested person for us to interview, even over like the housewives and all that stuff. Because we get, you know that Real Housewives of New Jersey fans are, very invested. And
yes.
Yeah, you know that. And we get so many Jersey questions. I remember seeing the podcast episode. It was like with you and Heather McDonald. And it was right when Heather shared it. So I shared it immediately and had this sense of relief that someone is finally speaking out and saying the truth. And you did. And it blew up. Did you feel like you got so much action after that happened?
Oh, yes. Action, satisfaction. No, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, Heather, I had no idea me just coming on your show because I love her. She loves me. I had no idea we were going to break the internet. I mean, that clip lasted for months.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It was epic.
Seriously. It was. And it, you know what's so funny, ladies? I was just like having a conversation with my friend, telling her my truth. And at the time, which gets me in trouble, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you guys what happened. True story. I did not think what I was saying was so controversial.
Wow.
But I should have known because Heather's reaction was priceless.
That's exactly how my reaction was. Like when I watched it, I'm like, wait, there's no way. There's no way. I immediately put it up. I was freaking out. I was like, I can't believe like he finally said it. Like we've all been waiting for someone to come out and say it. And I don't know, I've heard that Andy denies it or something. And you said it and then it blew up. It went everywhere. Then I went and I listened to all your episodes. I remember you had an episode with Danielle Staub prior, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, how are we just hearing all of this stuff? And everyone went crazy. It was like Carlos for president. I can't believe this is happening. For real.
No. Oh no, trust me, honey. Everything you're saying is so true. And look, I wanted people to know too that I wasn't coming across as a Melissa hater, because I really listen,
Right.
I don't know Melissa. We're not friends. When I was filming season 2, she came to Adriana's christening, and I obviously met her there, but I don't have a relationship with her. But that doesn't mean that I'm trying to like hate on her. I was really just telling the people the story, like, this is what happened.
Right.
And it became like you said, like Carlos for president, because he's validating Teresa's claims for over a decade. And what's so funny is Teresa texted me, she said, and she came on my podcast too. She was like,
Yeah.
I did not even think about asking you to confirm it for me, because I forgot that you were like literally there when I found out. I was like, yeah, girl, I will never forget that. So again, I always get in trouble for telling the truth, but
We love the
again, it
truth.
was it was
Yeah.
just the truth. And I think, look, I think it's one of those things where when it comes to Melissa and Teresa, they will always have divided fan bases, which listen, that's the nature of the housewives and
Right.
and reality TV. But I love Teresa. She is my girl. She's my friend. I adore her, and I will always support my girl.
Yeah. Well, why do you think that Andy denied this?
So what's funny is I never heard that he denied it. I heard this is what I heard. I heard he told them, which in hindsight I now understand. I was told he said to them, "I don't want to get involved. Like, leave me out of it." Right? Like, I just
Yeah.
because what was happening of semantics at this point, right? It's like, well, I did tell you, but I told you I was interviewing, but I didn't tell you I got the job. And it was like, wait, what? Like, that's what
Right.
you know what I mean? It's this game of semantics. And I think because Andy has done 800 hours of television since
Right.
then, I truly don't think he remembers. And I think he's like, ladies, I don't give a fuck. So
Yeah.
for
Yes.
me, that's why for
Mhm.
me, it was like, I remember the day. I remember where I was going. I remember the phone call. And a lot of people have said Carlos' story has never changed. Like it's
Yeah.
always been consistent. And that's why we have to give him credit for his truth.
Just like how Teresa's story has never changed. I feel like we've heard different things from Melissa where she was like, we were good, we were on good terms, we were on bad terms. Like she always says something differently. Whereas in you and Teresa both have had the same consistent story. So it's just the truth that you're telling. And again, we are so appreciative that you did that. And we got so many questions from our listeners. Again, I'm telling you, they have been freaking out that you are coming on this
They
podcast. I
really
swear
did.
to God.
They really said, we can show you. They said your name so many
Oh,
times. And
Yes,
we're like, okay,
because
we
we were
have to
like,
do it.
yeah, we're like, who should we have next? And everyone said you. But I do,
thank you,
yes,
everyone.
yeah, I do have a question. So you said that Melissa Gorga DM'd you on Facebook during season 2, right? She added you on Facebook. She DMs
Yeah.
you. Which, by the way, that's a bit much for a sister-in-law to like find a producer of the show that her
Mm-hmm.
sister-in-law's on, DM you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, people ask, do you still have the messages? What do you think the motive was?
this
Right.
is you know what? It's funny because this is what Kenya Moore is going through on Atlanta, right? With Martell DMing her.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I listen. So this literally happened 13
I
years
know.
ago.
Mm-hmm.
I look, true story. I do not have it, and the only thing that I have said, which again is my truth, is 13 years ago there wasn't an Instagram, there wasn't Twitter, there
Right.
wasn't a social media where regular people follow celebrities, right? Like
Yeah.
it wasn't a thing back in 2009, right? It just wasn't a thing, or 2010 in this case. It wasn't a thing. So I always tell people, Facebook in 2010 was strictly for family or friends. That's it. Like I wasn't following Beyonce on Facebook. Like Beyonce
Right.
didn't have a
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
all about family, friends, and of course, like, um, 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 you know, reconnecting with your high school friends. So I
Yeah.
tell people to this day, me and Melissa are Facebook friends, and that's my truth in terms of the validity in terms of she friended me, messaged me. I truly don't remember the message, but I searched my Facebook like yesterday. We are Facebook friends, and
Wow.
That makes so much sense.
right. You see what I'm saying? I
Yep.
only worked on the show seasons 1 and 2. That's it.
Yeah.
Melissa came on season 3. I was not a producer after season 2. So that's why I tell people, like, I'm not making things up because we're Facebook friends. And how can you be Facebook friends with somebody you never met?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Why didn't you do season 3?
So funny story. So when Teresa called me, I was in Chicago working on a show for Oprah Winfrey Network that was just starting out. It was called Season 25 Oprah Behind the Scenes, and it was chronicling Oprah as she was taping the last season of her talk show.
Oh.
So that was based in Chicago. So when Jersey was coming back, I was in Chicago working with Oprah. That's the only
Okay.
reason why I
Yeah.
did not go
It,
back.
Look at you. I wouldn't either.
yeah, I would pick Oprah over the Real
I would
Housewives.
pick Oprah all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
Right.
I chose Oprah. So it's funny because I remember everybody was so mad, like, you're not coming back. And I was like,
Wow.
honey, Oprah called me and I have to answer.
Right, exactly. No, that makes complete sense. I think anyone would
Yes,
do that. So
yeah.
that, yeah, because we did have a lot of people that are like, why would he not stay for season 3? But yeah, that makes sense. Well, right now, you know that New Jersey is on pause and they're waiting to see how things will be by the time fall hits. I don't think they have plans on bringing anyone new, but if things don't settle, they will push the pause until next year. What do you think should happen? If Teresa's saying, I don't want anything to do with my brother, what do you think should happen? What do you think producers are thinking right now?
Yeah, look, I think it's one of two situations, right? I think you have to either say, Melissa and Joe, thank you for your services. You're on a pause, like Lisa Rinna, like Tamara Judge was. Um, in my opinion, I just don't think Jersey can last without Teresa. I think she's a force multiplier. She is the face of that show. I think she's the face of it the way Kyle Richards is the face of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can do that show without Teresa, my opinion. So I think either Melissa has to go, or they'll say, okay, Teresa, here's a spinoff with you, Louie, and the girls, and Melissa gets to stay on Jersey, but Teresa gets to pop in as a guest starring role where she still has presence. I think that's the only way Melissa stays, but I said this before. I stopped watching this season after episode 2 because I just could not get into Teresa versus Melissa.
Right.
I'm
Again.
Again.
tired. Oh
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
god. But I did
Yeah.
watch that finale, honey, and I was
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the finale? What did you pick up
Oh,
on it? I know.
so first of all, props to everybody involved. It was so good and so juicy. I mean, it was
Yeah.
10 across the board, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, look, in my opinion, I really do believe that Teresa wants nothing to do with addressing anything she's heard about Melissa to Joe. I think Teresa has said to herself, I have tried. He doesn't listen to me. I wash my hands with it. Because what I don't need is another Teresa wants me and Joe to break up. I really believe that Teresa wanted no parts of it. I think Louis said, well, I'm going to do it. And I
Hmm.
think Teresa said, well, you do it, but I don't want no parts of it. I believe that. And I
Yeah.
and I also believe that Joe went I think Joe went in the car and speed dialed Melissa before he hit the ignition button. I
Right.
think he called her, told her what happened en route to the house. And my thing was, okay, Melissa, if you heard this 6 months ago, why wouldn't you say anything? If it's so insane and crazy, why not bring it up? Because if you have information where you know that, okay, I feel like my sister-in-law is trying to take me down. Why not bring it up? Why say on the finale when Danielle approached you, you're like, "What is it? Tell me. Please
Right.
say it." And when she said it, instead of checking Danielle like, "Look, you messy B word,"
Right.
it's a effing lie. Blah blah blah. Melissa zeroed in on Teresa. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's why Teresa left. 'Cause she was like, "See, I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't." And in my opinion, I think it um I think it made sure I think it solidified that Teresa wanted no parts of it because you saw her run away. I listen, I believe that Teresa's like, I'm exhausted of
Right.
arguing
She has
with
no
my
time
family.
for it.
Yeah, I think she's like, I'm over it. And listen, I think Melissa is a smart girl. I think she's like, look, bitch, this is what the fans have been waiting on all season. Let's go. I think Melissa was like, let's go, which is why she kept baiting Danielle to like say it now
Right. Like,
out
yeah.
loud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think of it like on season 12, Melissa is sitting at the end of the chair at the reunion. And I feel like everyone, especially in New Jersey, they make it a big deal. So I feel like Melissa was kind of like, we need to bring it this season. And then, of course, season 13 reunion comes and she's sitting right next to Andy. And I feel like that's a big
Mm-hmm.
deal to her. So she was
Yep.
like, we need to go against Teresa because that's the only time that I'm in the first seat.
Oh
Do you
yes,
think that they think
listen.
like that?
Oh honey, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do
Like,
Look,
anything for that
yes,
seat.
I like to call her Melissa Lopez because she thinks she's J Lo. And then listen, I
right.
and look, I love it. Listen, we love housewives that have the grandeur, sensibility. So listen, I love it. I call her M Lo. So I definitely think M
I like
Lo
that.
wanted to do what I listen. This show means a lot to Melissa in a
right.
very different way of what it means to Teresa. I think to your point, listen, I think anybody who watches the show can see that Melissa wants to be the top dog, and she has she has trouble with Teresa constantly winning in the end. And this, I'm gonna tell you, it was the season where Danielle Staub, one of my favorites of all time, it
Yes.
was the
Yeah.
season where Danielle Staub, um, unfortunately, told Melissa, of all people, she told Melissa, like, Teresa told me to pull the hair. What I saw was this excitement of Melissa getting the tea. Like, well, she
Yep.
did what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think of Melissa's mind, she was like, "Oh baby, it's going down."
Yes.
Teresa, and look, I think a lot of people thought Teresa would never recover from it. But one thing about Teresa, the reason why Teresa always wins in the end is because she cops to it. She wasn't like, "I never said that. That's not." She was like, "You motherfuckers." And
Right.
middle finger to the camera, like, "Wow, really?"
Yeah.
She felt bad, and to her credit, she apologized to Marge. And I think that was the moment that I saw, like, oh, Melissa really takes satisfaction in seeing you lose. But baby, Teresa, for some reason, because she's genuine, right? She always wins in the end,
Yeah.
always.
She's authentic. And we actually just found out. Do you remember that scene where Margaret pushes Danielle's fiance in the pool?
Yes.
So we just found out, we just actually listened to an episode of Melissa's podcast where she says that Joe Gorga told Margaret to do that. So,
What?
yes, I have to send you the clip. It's crazy. I don't know why.
Melissa said that out of her own mouth.
Yes, I don't know why she would admit to that.
So
I
why would they get mad that Teresa told Danielle
Exactly.
exactly.
to also get good television? Because listen, people can say, well, Carlos pulling the hair is different. Really? Somebody could have drowned. Did she know he knew how
Yeah,
to swim? Listen,
exactly.
They were
I
Mhm.
know how to
drinking
swim.
too.
Yeah, I know how to swim in the kiddie pool. So if you push me in a pool, I need a lifeguard.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So to me, it's the same thing. But see, that's why there's an issue here, guys.
Mhm.
It's the issue of um of this takedown. Now that you said that to me, listen, I'm now validated and vindicated for saying
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was a takedown moment, because if you're telling Margaret to push somebody in a pool, and you said that out, and you're saying Melissa said this on her podcast.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm literally gonna send you the clip. I just found it. It was on TikTok. Someone, I don't know, an amazing listener, they sent it to me and they were like, just so you know, look, listen to this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of this.
She gets herself in trouble so
No,
much on her
no, but
podcast.
she does it behind the scenes. So she controls the narrative on the
Yeah.
show, and that's
Mhm.
what people are watching. So some people will see the things behind the scenes, but you know, a lot of people do feel bad for her sometimes because they only watch the show. They don't see the rest of this. They're not listening to her podcast or any of that. So yeah, that did happen. And I have a question for you. As a producer, do you guys listen to viewers and listeners and all that and what they have to say about a housewife? Are you guys paying attention?
See, it's so funny. Back in my day, I've been producing Housewives. I mean, when I was producing Housewives, I did it back in 2008. So
Right, yeah.
2008 up until like 2000, I think I left in 16. So that's 8 years of producing that show. So back then, again, this is before Twitter, and this is before the Housewives mob, right? Where everybody had a platform, everybody had an opinion, and every housewife had a podcast. This is way before
Yeah,
that
yeah.
time. So the answer back then was no. It wasn't even a thought in our minds to pay attention to Twitter. I still
Wow.
I still don't do that, but I get the sense that a lot of the producers are doing that nowadays, which is why you see some of these iconic people like a Tamra Judge getting fired, Lisa Rinna getting fired.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like, why are you letting go of these people who are controversial on Twitter, but they're great for the show? So I do believe that nowadays social media plays a role in the decisions for sure, and that to me is unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a producer, do you get annoyed with blogs that spill the tea? Be
Yes,
honest.
because they
Okay.
yes, because they get it. No, I'm gonna tell you ladies what happens.
Okay.
Number one, they get it wrong, and then it spirals
Right.
into the production of the show. So you can
Guilty.
listen,
Yeah.
you can, right, right,
But Carlos,
exactly.
we get it
Right,
right.
blame
Okay.
me.
We've gotten it right year after year. Okay. So,
Right, right. So this is
okay.
what happens. This is what happens. Two people who used to have an issue with each other, right? They could be in a good place. If a blog reports on something that, this person's Twitter was subliminal to you, girl, and I'm telling you now,
Yeah.
this reality star would take it to heart and all of a sudden stop speaking to them. And you're like, wait, you guys were having dinner last night, having a great time. Well, somebody sent me something and I believe
Yeah.
it. And it's like, it's so difficult to do our job because when our audience watches it, they're confused too. Like, wait, I just saw you two have dinner. Why are you like now all of a sudden hating her? So
Right. Yeah.
I don't like it. I like it. Listen, I tell you what I do like. I like the fodder when the show is airing. Like we're stopped. We're not shooting. The show is airing. Then to me, it's like talk all the shit you want. I love it. I love engagement. I love the opinions. I love it, but I don't love it in the middle of shooting because it messes up our
Okay.
our
Yeah,
our
that makes
production.
sense.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So we don't do that. We always wait until the end of shooting. And Jersey, like, thank God, especially with Jersey, like everyone in Jersey always reaches out to us for everything. But I know that producers in Jersey probably get annoyed, whereas in like Atlanta and like Vanderpump Rules producers are super kind to us. And so I'm like, yeah, I wonder if it's because they get annoyed that there's like spoilers out there. But that's just how the world is now. It's a different world. Like
Mhm.
social media has taken over, just like with the Kardashians.
Mhm.
They had to get off of E News because we would know everything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
So
true.
yeah,
It's true. It's true. But no, listen.
yeah,
Like I said, I, as a creator and producer of reality TV, I love when my shows get picked up from the fans and the press because it does nothing but help the show in the end because it gives eyeballs to it.
yeah.
And So I love it for those reasons. Just do it once we stop shooting.
Yep,
That's my only
absolutely.
request.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I know you brought up Danielle, and I know that you love Danielle. You have a great relationship with her. So,
Hmm.
okay, she has claimed for quite some time to have messages between her and Melissa from years ago. Why do you think she refuses to bring it to life? Like she says she still has it.
Because she's a smart cookie and she's not going to do it for free.
Right. And Carlos, and I knew that. And I knew that. But then she didn't do it when she came back and she had her
I'm gonna
opportunity.
tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
She because and again, this is my speculation because I know her so well, and I get the business. She the thing with Danielle when she came back, she really wanted to be a full time housewife, not a friend of. Imagine going back to and listen. I said this publicly. If it wasn't for Danielle Staub, there would not be a season two. It was
Yeah.
Danielle Staub
Oh yeah.
that
Yes, I
you know what I
agree.
mean.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle Staub will go down to me as the best villain the Housewives franchise has ever seen. She's delicious. So imagine being on a show you helped make a pop culture phenomenon for 2 years, and then you got let go, and you're gone for a couple of years. And we know this with other housewives. It's life after Bravo is hard for a lot of housewives because
Yeah.
that's their identity, and not their identity in terms of how they see themselves. It's how the world sees them, right? Like you can't just apply for a job and you're not like a fucking former housewife, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So when she came back on the show, she really tried to come back and be in everyone's good graces to show that I'm not just a friend of Teresa's. I'm able to get along with everybody. That's why you didn't see Danielle turn up the volume until like they needed some action, right? And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, where were they? They were on some cash trip at some bar, and she started to like throw the glasses on the
Yes.
table. I like
Yeah.
soggy, like not soggy, Lord Jesus,
Siggy.
Siggy. Oh
The
gosh,
shade. Yeah.
I know. And I love Siggy. I met her.
Yeah.
By the way, not to like change the subject, I ran into Siggy in Florida 2 years ago.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
And we had a nice exchange. She said, "Are you Carlos King?" And I said, "Bitch, are you Siggy?"
I'm
And she said, "Baby, you were the only producer they kept talking about when I was on the show.
Oh
Like, we
my
need Carlos back." So no,
gosh.
she was very sweet. So yeah. So
Love that.
anyways, when Danielle came back, Danielle wanted to come back and say, "Look, I want to be full time. I can't be full time if I'm getting into with everybody and I'm only Teresa's friend." That's why when she pulled Margaret's hair, you saw Danielle feel like this is the last thing I wanted because I think she knew that wow, this may be the end of my time on the
Right.
show.
Yeah.
And that's why she didn't bring
Mhm.
up all the Melissa stuff because she knew that it would be a divide. It would be Teresa and Danielle against the others.
Yeah. And I feel like Andy doesn't want her back. Like I feel like he would
Yeah,
not
that's
bring her
the
back.
yeah, no, she was on my podcast. Listen, Danielle has said to me on my podcast that she left. And I said, okay. Now I believe otherwise. That's my opinion, right? I think it was a lot that went into it. I just don't think it was only her decision. But I will say that she wants to come back on the show. Um, she definitely wants to come back, and she
Yeah.
she really misses it.
I think she knew that she was probably going to get let go. So before she could get let go, she was like, I don't want this. And I heard there were some things behind the scenes and I heard Andy would not want her on. So, I mean, but hopefully, I'm wrong. And,
I hope she comes
Yeah.
back.
I'm rarely wrong here, Carlos, on this stuff, but
Oh, I
maybe.
know, honey, because you guys are very much verified,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
but I tend to believe that because I'm now remembering that her last reunion where they broke the fourth wall and she said, "I'm an OG. I need to sit next to Andy," and then they gave
Yes.
Danielle a poor chair at the end, and I'm like, "Oh, Danielle, this
And
isn't
Vicky,
good."
Vicky,
It's
Vicky
like
from
Vicky, yeah,
OC
it is
did
like
that
her doing that.
too. Yeah, look what happened to her. She did that too, and they won't bring her back. But wait, Carlos, I want to make sure we get this question out because, okay, we want you to dive into the Caroline Dina drama of it all. So we recently,
Oh, yes.
well, look, we recently revealed that on Ultimate Girls Trip, we had some inside knowledge that Caroline does throw Dina under the bus. She brings up that Dina cheated on Tommy.
What?
Yes, all the ladies that were there think that. What can you tell us what went wrong with them? That Dina.
Oh
Well,
my
I
God.
know now it's bad, but like, what went wrong
Yeah.
with them? Because you were there for it all.
So okay, so I did season 1 and 2, right? So season 1, um, remember it was Dina, Caroline, Jacqueline, and Teresa. Then it was Danielle on the other side, right? Season
Yes.
1, I literally saw no divide between the sisters. None. Not behind the scenes, in front of the camera, none of it.
Mm.
When Caroline said so epically, "We are thick as thieves," baby, you better believe it. We knew nothing about the dynamic. And I mean this, we knew nothing going into season 1. And the only time we saw some cracks in the foundation is, of course, at that epic dinner scene in the finale where, Caroline said, "I'm the one who brought the book to the chateau,"
Yes.
right? And Jack was like, "You liar, it was Dina." And it was,
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Wait, what?" Like
Yeah.
that, like ladies, that was the first time all the producers were like, "Wait, who did it? Who's lying here?" Right?
Wow. So
So
you
that
guys
was the
didn't even know.
we had no idea. None.
Wow.
None. Zero, zilch, nada. And that's why I always tell people about Jacqueline. You got to give Jacqueline some props for standing up against her family while her fucking husband is sitting next to her looking like, what the fuck is happening, right?
Right.
So that was the first time we saw some cracks in the foundation. And then honestly, season 2, to Dina's credit, and me and Dina are still very close. Um, she was like, "Carlos, I'm out." And I'm like, "Honey, you have potential to be like an icon because you're gorgeous, you're funny, and you bring it." And she was like, It's too much." And to Dina's credit, Dina also left because she knew that it was not going to be good for her family, and she just and again, call her a prophet. She was like, "I choose my peace and my family over this fucking TV show." So she
Wow.
left and she said, "Carlos, I'm giving you what you want." True story, ladies. She said, "I'm going to give you me and Danielle 101 before I leave." She said, she
Oh,
said,
that's
"I know that's what you
respect.
need."
Hmm.
I respect Dina. She said, "I know what you need. Make it happen. I'm gonna do it. After that, bitch, I'm gone."
Right.
So then season 2, she left. And again, we knew that, and I'm gonna say this, because this is the truth. We all were like, okay, Dina wants no parts of the show. Her big sister Caroline is still on the show. So we knew something was interesting going on there because they weren't speaking, but we all assumed it's because I can't keep in contact with the person who's still involved in this show that I dislike. And Dina, as we see now, Dina is all about her peace.
Yeah.
So when everything started coming out years later about Tommy and these accusations and the break-in, seriously, all of that was the first time that I knew how bad it was because honestly, ladies, they literally never showed us any signs of division. And I think a lot of it had to do with, to Caroline's credit, they were thick as thieves and they refused to allow the producers of the world to see any cracks in that foundation.
That shows you
Yeah.
loyalty. Like they were super loyal to each other. Whereas, and I feel like when it comes to the Gorkas and then Teresa, there's they don't have that. They're quick to throw them under the bus and they just don't have that. So that shows you that, even though Dina is not happy with Caroline, she was loyal to her family. And I also think that Dina thinks about her parents and she doesn't want them to hurt because of their kids.
And that's true. She said that to me
Hmm.
personally.
Yeah.
And and Dina, I believe Dina is the baby of 10 kids.
Which is crazy. Yeah. So,
And,
gosh.
and and Chris Manzo is number 9.
Wow.
And that's why
Yeah.
they were so close. That's why the Jacqueline thing hurt their relationship because Chris and Dina were very close.
What do you think about Jacqueline, coming out? I know Jacqueline was on your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, but there is some reunion tea that we recently shared where
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Goldschneider and her had some text conversations, and
Ooh.
yeah, and Jacqueline and Jackie gave it to Melissa to bring it out at the reunion to show Teresa that Jacqueline spoke about her when they weren't friends. And she gets brought up again for another incident with Joe Gorka and like legal stuff, where she tells Teresa that we knew about all your legal stuff. Melissa and Joe would tell us. What do you think about her speaking up now?
Listen, I want Jacqueline back on the show.
Same.
Same.
I,
Mm-hmm.
honey, think about it. That's the reason why you need to keep Teresa and bring back Jacqueline so Jacqueline can check all the girls. Because
Yes.
Jacqueline, I want a Jacqueline versus Margaret because I want Margaret to have a good opponent. Although Danielle did a good job in the finale, I'm not gonna lie. But Jacqueline is a walking memory bank. She doesn't forget anything. And what made Jersey so iconic is the historical nature of the friendships and the family, right? You
Yeah.
want Jacqueline back on the show, but Jacqueline revealed on my podcast that she is moving to the OC. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
bitch, you gotta
Yeah.
come to Jersey.
Yeah, but I don't even think she would do it. I really don't. I just feel like
Yeah.
she doesn't
She
even want
had
to put herself in
she
that
has super
situation.
yeah, she has so much anxiety being on that kind of show. Like she's kind of like a Dina where she can't handle it.
Yeah,
No,
especially
because
when shit goes
again,
south.
Jacqueline's old school. Jacqueline just believes in we're being real. And I
Yes.
think what has happened with the newer housewives, they try to make a moment happen. They
Yep.
they they try to expose you. They do research on you. They call the
Mm-hmm.
feds and the private investigator. And Jacqueline misses the days where she and Teresa were stomping grapes in Teresa's garage.
Yeah. And I
Like those
love that.
fun. Oh yes, but that's I want to see my girl happy. And listen, I love me some Jennifer Aiden. I think Jennifer Aiden is a top tier housewife.
Love
Um,
her.
love
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
But you want Teresa to be back with her Ethel. Like
Right.
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You want
Yeah.
that. So that's what I need in my life.
Well, so I did. Why do you think we haven't? Now, going back to Melissa, why do you think we haven't been able to see her audition tape? Like we saw Teresa's. Why isn't Bravo sharing
Ooh!
Melissa's? Yeah. Have you seen it?
I never thought of it. No, I see. I left after the finale season 2. Um,
Wow.
I did. Oh my gosh!
Come on,
See,
your friends. Where are
Yeah,
your
call
friends?
your people. Call your
Come on.
people
I'm
and
this
get
is
sure.
it.
breaking. This is breaking news. So wait a second. They never showed it.
No, but they showed
Oh,
Teresa's. Do
did
you
they ever
think?
give an excuse why? That's interesting,
No, but
ladies.
I'm thinking it would make them maybe look bad because if Melissa, let's say, said, we're not good with Teresa, maybe, I don't know if she would really flat out say, I'm going to come for her. But if she said, I'm going to confront the situation, I'm going to tell her how we feel, like maybe it wouldn't or make Bravo look good. So maybe Bravo's like, let's not put that audition tape out there. Because why would they put Teresa's but not put Melissa's when everyone's been requesting that?
That is hilarious. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm actually at a loss for words. I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, look, I've never seen it. I obviously have seen Teresa's because when we started the show, they played it for us and they played it for the world now, where she's sitting in front of her home
Yeah.
um, with her bubbies. So, wow. No, I don't. That is kind of, a little cray cray.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like there's just so much shadiness that comes with Melissa. What did you think about Kathy joining, by the way? I feel like to me that's a bigger betrayal because that's my cousin.
Oh yeah. So again, when Teresa called me before she was getting into season 3, she mentioned obviously Melissa, as I've expressed, but she was also talking about her family. And Teresa is very family oriented. She is a mom. I mean, she was a mama's girl, a daddy's girl, and she saw what happened between Dina and Caroline, and she was like, that could never happen to me, right? So listen, I think anybody who joins a show behind their family member's back, I think that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I just think it's, listen, if we're not the closest, I would say out of respect to you, I just need you to know.
Right. I would
You
never
know,
be able to move on. I would never be able to, I would, like, I cannot forget something like that. I would never be able to move on. So I don't understand how people don't
yeah,
see where she's coming from.
and you'll always be suspicious of somebody's motives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, I get it.
Yeah, and I know that you do have to go, but I have
That's
a
okay.
question. I have a question about Atlanta. Is there any way you can see Bravo and Nene making up?
Listen, I am a Christian.
Yes.
I like to pray.
We love that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hopeful. But you know what's so funny? Before the lawsuit happened, on my podcast, and I was a guest on other people's podcasts, and I said it then. I'm going to say it now. Everything can be worked out when both parties, with no handlers, not the peanut gallery, nobody. When two people are able to talk face to face, one on one, I believe anything is impossible. Anything is possible. And I want that for them because I know firsthand and I saw firsthand how close they were and how she would call him her buttercup. You know, like I remember those days. I remember talking to her. She's like, "Let me call you back, bitch. This Angie calling girl." I'm like, "All right, girl, bye." You know, she loved him, and I remember he called me one day. Did you tell Nene I said this about her? And I was like, "No, I didn't say anything."
Oh my god!
You know, like that's how. But I'm only saying that to say that's how close they were. And listen, it saddens. Listen, and this is true. It truly saddens me that has gotten to the point where they're not speaking, and I really want the two of them to just have a one-on-one, no cameras, no nothing, and just talk it out. Because my thing is this: if Jacqueline and fucking Teresa can make up, then anything is possible.
Absolutely,
I agree. Yep. We're gonna pray for them.
Yes, we definitely
are. Please,
because we do want to see that. So absolutely. Well, we are so happy that you came on. We are so excited to share this with everyone. And when you are in Detroit,
this was so fun.
Yeah, and when you are in Detroit, you need to call us up. Okay, so
we'll take you out.
Yeah, we'll take you out in your hometown. Yeah.
I know.
Well, we may know the newer spot.
Yeah.
I know. We have to go to, I heard Eminem has a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spaghetti.
Mom spaghetti. It's not, it's like a little
it's not
like,
what you think though. No.
Yeah, it's like in
never mind.
No. Yeah. See, that's how you know you haven't been here in a minute. So yeah, we'll take care of you. Okay. We'll take care of you.
And I'll let you know about Love and Marriage.
Yes,
Detroit,
please.
Yes, we'll be so excited.
We're excited about that. Thank you so much for coming on, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Be sure to check out AllAboutTRH.com for everything Real Housewives and Bravo TV. And please make sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at AllAboutTRH Podcast.